Good morning, everyone. Well, I figured out something after I put the Stockholm and the Andrea Doria in place, moored them at their port, and I also, where's the Queen Mary? There's the Queen Mary. What the hell is this thing supposed to be? What is that meant to be? I wonder. That's over here, I think. So what I did was I took this thing, which was on top of my casket gurney, and I moved that on top of that one. Oh, this is the... No, there's the Queen Mary. I moved it on top of this one. Small, we'll call this a tug. So that tug, these are tugs. I should have them different colors, but that's now there. The Queen Mary is here. But this is really bothering me, the Queen Mary, and also the Andrea Doria. This sticks out a little bit too much into the open ocean. So what I'm going to do is remove a shelving unit that's on the end, and I'm going to move the other elements of the superstructure. Where are my plans for the Andrea Doria here? I'll just have to draw a new one here for you. You can see my cunning plans here. Where's that pencil that runs out of lead? I don't know where that is either. Give me a pencil. My kingdom for a pencil. Just use a pen. This is a 51. Does it write? Yes. So what I'm going to do is the Normandie presently is clogging too much of my life right here. So I'm going to keep this bookshelf on the end of it, facing that way toward the Straits of Panama Isthmus. And then I'm going to move the bow of the Andrea Doria. We're going to have a bowectomy here. So I'm going to move the bow of the Andrea Doria over here. So that'll be like this, aiming in. There's some shelves on it, 3 shelves worth of books. I'm going to have a gap here that will hold my divider screens. I have a collection of divider screens that I use occasionally. And then there'll be a little platform here of, let's say, 20 by 20 inches, or maybe slightly larger. It depends on how wide I make my Cumberland notch here, the gap between the bow and the stern area for these things. This might be a foot. It may be 15 inches. It'll be easily changeable because these will slide back and forth. And then on this thing, maybe I'll put a pedestal with a tabletop on it or something. And that way I can see the books and I can get at the books without having to move the Normandie. The Normandie is maybe like the real Normandie in New York Harbor, capsized and will stay there for the duration. So that's my plan. Now, I know you're wondering what's going to happen to the big, what's it called? Filing cabinet. Thank you very much. Filing cabinet and shelves on top of the filing cabinet. What's going to happen to those things? Never fear. The shelves might fit on top of this. I don't know. I haven't figured that out yet. But the filing cabinet is going to go right here. And it will fit I've measured it twice. Well, almost twice. It'll fit right here. More or less. It'll fit right here. So that's how that's going to work. But it'll make this area much bigger, this open ocean area here. This is bigger. This is like the Pacific, and this is the Atlantic, or this will be the, well, I don't want it, this was the North Atlantic and the South Atlantic or something, the Atlantic and the Pacific, well, maybe that's it. This is the Pacific. I'll have this be somewhat geographic. This will be the Atlantic, and then, of course, the Panama Canal is here. So this maybe have to be renamed, and this is the Arctic Ocean. I may have to rename these things. This is the Northwest Patch. Does that make sense? Arctic Ocean, that makes sense. So that's how it's going to work. But it requires me to, I just loaded up the Andrea Doria. Well, see, the other thing is with the Andrea Doria now, my plan, if I do move this front thing away, the bow will look sort of funny, but that's okay. I can deal with funny looking bows. It'll look like this. Maybe I can put a picture or a mirror or something, I don't know what, on it to make it look fancy. Maybe tart it up with something over here. But what it allows me to do is there'll be, right now there's an underhang, we can call it an underhang, that's about 6 inches long, and it will become 18 inches long, and it will fit under my table here, as you see. See, there it is. So it'll just stick out a little bit more, which is fine because there's nothing down there. But it'll give an extra 12 inches of space in the open ocean here, and it'll just seem a little less cramped as you walk in, just a little tiny bit. I'll show you. This edge, well, of course, there's all this shit in front of it now, so this will all be gone normally, but this will go, this distance here will be removed. These things will move forward, but this entire thing will push back. So essentially the end of the cabinet will be here. So it'll be a nicer, I kind of like the way it looks right now, but I think it'll work better because this will be open. You'll see straight back past the suit of armor to the rest of the room. I may end up moving the suit of armor here, so the suit of armor will still be there, but it'll be better. It'll be better. My filing cabinet will go here, coming out to here. This will go away. Maybe this will go on the Normandie, and that'll fit right in here. The chair will have to move that way a little bit, but I don't think I have to move the Fonsar and his pedestal. I think it'll fit right in here. I have to measure that, but if I have to move the Fonsar an inch or two to the right, it'll be fine. But anyway, so this is making me happier. This was on the casket gurney, and this has been added to that. So this area is rather condensed, but it's an area that I don't care about. I care about it, of course I care about it. but I don't need to deal with it. It's pen repair and fountain pens that I'm selling, hopefully selling to other artists and calligraphers. That's all in this area here. These are full of pens. And I'll just take out the pens that I think they want. I'll put them on this table here, and we'll write and draw and have fun. So that's the plan for today. I might even feel emboldened enough. Do you think I will feel emboldened enough to maybe add I have a bookshelf I can add on top of this thing. Do I? I do have one. I just have to make sure that the top of the Andrea Doria doesn't hit the top of the Queen Mary when they're moving around, because we don't want that to happen. The Andrea Doria, of course, was involved in a collision that we all know and love. The Queen Mary was involved in a collision as well and sank a British destroyer escort. Forget the name of it. Memory. Think. Anyway, there's this awful reenactment of that story on YouTube. You can look it up. Queen Mary something collision. And it has reenactors playing the role of the captain of the Queen Mary, and their budget for their costume and set design must have been about $1.50, because it was really, really bad. It shows the captain of the Queen Mary wearing first of all, he's wearing a white shirt, which is perfectly fine for a captain of an ocean liner to wear. But it's a white shirt that probably was about 4 sizes too big, which would never happen in the Navy or Merchant Marine. He looks like a clown, you know. And the other thing is, he raises his binoculars up to see the boat he's about to run into, which he wouldn't have to do either. He can see that he's going to run into it without the binoculars. But you see on his sleeve his blue double-breasted blazer. They managed to put gold buttons on it to make it look like a navy coat, but they didn't bother to take the buttons off the sleeves. So he has 4 gold stripes, which is correct, added to this thing, but they didn't take the buttons off. You know, so there's brown or black blazer buttons on his blue uniform. And I just wanted to throw my computer out the window when I see things like that. You know, I believe in being proper and correct when it comes to costuming, especially historic costuming. We want to be correct. Right? Right.